Up so early. Can you imagine waking up that early, sitting there for 4 hours with us? I know it was a lot of fun and a lot of guests, but the dedication by those fans from around the country, the best in the game.
Not to mention the energy at that time in the morning. They were lit.
Speaking of energy, I'm not going to say that we're lit. We're kind of lit here at the table this morning, still buzzing 2 days after one of the greatest games in NFL history. Super Bowl 52, the Eagles get their first Super Bowl win in franchise history, by the way. It is time right now for the lead block.
Lead block.
Enjoy.
Full space. He is going deep, and it is caught by Alshon Jeffrey for a touchdown.
Oh, what a great catch by Alshon Jeffrey.
That could be the play of the game. What a catch. Bowl moves to the right. It goes directly to Clement. Clement reverses it, and the pass goes into the end zone.
To Nick Foles.
It's a touchdown by Nick Foles.
Little razzle-dazzle. I love this. Come on, Doug Peterson.
Nick Foles becoming the first backup quarterback to win a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP since Tom Brady did the thing back in Super Bowl 36, 2001 style. So now that we all believe in Foles and Philadelphia, I'm curious what storylines you guys all believe in. You guys have believed in Foles for a long time. We sort of always championed the Eagles. They take down the Patriots. So time for believe it or not.
Believe it or not.
Thank you. MVP Nick Foles will be on the Eagles roster next season, week 1, 2018. By the way, the next football game, the Hall of Fame game, $179 away.
179 days.
179 days for your next football game. We'll be here with you until then.
That's right. It's a lot of shows, guys.
You on the roster?
The fantasy football owner in me says absolutely not. You know, when you get like an embarrassment of riches at a position, trade, let's get value for him. But I generally think he will be on the roster. First and foremost, they got to see what they got from Wentz. You know, we got to see how Wentz's knee comes out. You can't get rid of Foles unless you know that Wentz is going to be Wentz. And there's also the thing that Peter talked a lot about yesterday, team chemistry, the way Eagles do things. They love a backup quarterback. So while I'd love to say, go get a second, go get a first, I think he's going to be on the team next year.
And the key thing here is that he's under contract for next year. He's about to make $7 million next year, which is going to be $23 million less of what Kirk Cousins is going to get paid and $24 million less what Matt Stafford's going to be paid. But I do think he's on the roster. Knowing the way the Eagles operate, remember they had both Chase Daniel and Sam Bradford, and they drafted Carson Wentz. They love the security of a backup quarterback in the building. And just from a chemistry standpoint, we're bringing everyone back. We've always played this underdog role. Nick Foles does not seem to be a me-first guy. All along, it felt like he understood his role on this team. He won the Super Bowl MVP. He's immortal in Philly sports legend.
Right.
I think he finishes out next year with the Eagles. The Eagles, out of good faith and out of wanting a solid backup quarterback, keep him around. And I know it's not the sexiest thing, but I think he's on the roster week 1.
Yeah, I believe he's on the roster, and I feel like they might even do something that's non-traditional and give him a little bit of bump, maybe some type of bonus. Just add it in his contract, saying for the next year, just to make you comfortable and reward you for bringing something to this city that we haven't had. But think about this. We oftentimes talk about starting quarterbacks in the league, and they're at a premium, and the drop-off between the starting quarterback and the backup is so huge. Tannehill goes down. Cutler comes in. He didn't have the season he wanted. Rodgers go down. Brett Hundley comes in. He doesn't have the season he wanted. You look at Bradford, Bridgewater, Case Keenum comes in, plays unbelievable. So if you're Carson Wentz, to your point, not knowing what you're going to get, and even if he does become healthy and goes down again with another injury, you have a quarterback that you know is not a backup, but a starting Super Bowl MVP. I believe he's on the roster.
Add the Colts, the Texans to that list with the backup situations.
Yeah, right
I think all that this entire run, really the takeaway from all of us should be the importance of the backup quarterback position. All right, believe it or not, Tom Brady and Bill. I like that.
Yes. I'm playing drums with brushes over here.
You can do the air piccolo and drums with brushes.
I do it all, okay?
What can't you
Somebody
do?
put $1 in my guitar case, please.
Tom Brady and Bill Belichick will not go to another Super Bowl together. Believe that or leave it.
Whew. This is tough because
Get him, Nate.
It's not about Tom and Belichick. For me, it's more about the offense coordinator, defense coordinator. I know we said this before, and you know the narrative is they'll be just fine. I don't think so. I don't believe it's because Tom is aging. I don't believe it's because Bill Belichick is going to be out-coached. He's still one of the greatest of all time. So Tom is the GOAT. But it's trying to get somebody that's going to fulfill the space where the play calling is there, the chemistry is there. We've seen this time and time again. As much as we loved Atlanta a season ago, they struggled this past season with Sarkisian as their offense coordinator. So now imagine having that element on both sides of the ball where you got to have a new play caller defensively and offensively.
Who's challenging them in the AFC?
That's where I come out, Kay. I agree. It's not the sexiest reason, but if you look at the AFC, the AFC East, of course. I mean, they still have the best quarterback and the best coach. So, yes, I believe they'll be in another Super Bowl because who's going to knock them out? Look, Jacksonville seems cool. Are they really ready? Are they going to have another season where they're staring down the Patriots at the end of it? Pittsburgh hasn't earned the right to be in this conversation. They get owned by the Patriots every single year. Facts. And I don't know. The Raiders, who is the team?
I think the Chiefs, do we really know what they're going to look like?
I don't know.
I'm listing teams. There's one team, and there's one team only. My man Deshaun Watson. Those Houston Texans. Okay. This is time. Pass the torch. This has been a long run. 18 years, all right? Who's going to be the next face of that conference? Kyle, you're right. We thought it was Andrew Luck for a bit, right? Didn't happen. We thought it would be Joe Flacco. We got one kind of traded off. Who is going to be that next quarterback? Because it was Manning and Brady for so long. Manning's out of the league 2 years now, and no one's come close to Brady.
Right.
He's won an MVP, and he's won a Super Bowl in different seasons. So to me, it's who's going to be that next young gun.
Next year, Peter, Deshaun? 6 games he started. 3-3 as a start.
I am so high on Deshaun Watson
and the
Texans because I saw just a glimpse, and I feel like that team had something special going on. But are they challenging for the Super Bowl just yet? I don't know. And Steelers fans, I'm sorry.
So do you believe that Brady and Bill will go to another Super Bowl?
I do. I do. But I cannot wait to see these young quarterbacks come up and challenge him finally. Enough already.
I mean, maybe if Rob Gronkowski retires, they won't go to another Super Bowl. We heard some weird line of questioning to Rob Gronkowski following the game, though it was fresh off the loss. He was clearly emotional, but he was asked about what he was going to do in his future, and he said he's going to take time to sort of think about it. So believe it or not, Rob Gronkowski is actually seriously considering walking away from this game.
Gronk lose, Gronk sad, Gronk no like lose, Gronk no feel good. Gronk say maybe think future.
Kyle, you an idiot.
Are you Encino Man?
You an idiot.
That's the second
Brendan Fraser.
Right? Yeah. No.
Great movie.
No. I think one of my favorite expressions. I love Encino Man. Sean Astin, Tour de Force. Pauly Shore.
Yeah.
One of my favorite expressions I've learned from Nate in our show is someone being in their feelings. This is classic in their feelings. Brady said in his press conference too. The game was over 15 minutes ago. You know what I'm saying? Like this whole thing. I had to think about my future. It sounds like something Ben Roethlisberger would say after a loss. Emotional, a little bit snippy, and Gronk sad. Gronk think future. No. Yeah.
Great season. He's not even 29 years old yet. He had 1,000 yards, more yards than any tight end in the game.
Yeah, it's a prime example of a guy getting his feelings. I'll give you an example. Me and my boys used to do these boys trips, and y'all met my best friend Darnell. He's from Seattle, so we know each other over half our lives.
Love that guy.
And we're out, we're in the club in Vancouver, and we're kicking it. And he had a little bit too much to drink, and he went to go talk to this girl.
Darnell, what?
Yeah, he went to go talk to this girl, and they're having a good time, and she's beautiful. And then I walk away, go to the bar, I come back, and the girl's gone, and he's sitting there and he's sulking. And he was like, he found out his puppy died. And I'm just like, this D, what's up? You good? He's like, she left, man. She left. I was like, okay, it's just a girl. He's like, nah, she was the one. And I was like, okay, cool, but like, man up, let's go. Let's go to another spot. He's like, just go. Like he was in war about to die. He's like, save yourself. Just go, man. Just go.
Save the others. Right now?
He was so in his feelings.
No, you got to be a volume shooter. Come on, man. Let's go.
Shoot your shot, man.
Shoot
so
every
like
shot.
that whole night he was in his feelings, and the next day he rebooted and he was like, all right, let's get after it. That was Gronk. Gronk, he's hurt. He's sitting there. He's in his feelings. He's like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. But he's going to get back to where he needs to be. He's going to start training again. He's going to get that desire and that fire to play football. He's not going to retire.
Okay. I don't think he's going to retire either. His contract situation is a little interesting, and obviously with McDaniels leaving and some of the things going on there, but I think Gronk, through all this strife and through all this incredible perseverance, through major injuries, I thought he played an incredible Super Bowl. An incredible Super Bowl.
Wow.
He could have been the Super Bowl MVP had they won that game. And that third quarter was Gronk's quarter. I think we're not done seeing Gronk yet. I think he loves it too much.
Is his deal up, or he's just looking for more money to be paid as the best tight end in the league?
His deal's not up. There's some outs on this thing, and there's just ways that he could be paid more considering the market has gone so high since he last signed his deal.
That's got to be hard because you have guys like Tom Brady taking, team-friendly deals, and I think that that's the expectation for Rob Gronkowski.
Also a tough week for him. He was battling a concussion, and we were like, well, we know you're going to play, ha, ha, ha. But, like, the dude was battling a serious head injury and had to go out there and play.
And he was amazing in the game.
Yeah.
Touchdowns destroyed.
Playing Believe it or not. No. Thank you. Super Bowl 52.
Okay, never mind.
Super Bowl 52 was the greatest Super Bowl you have ever seen.
I feel like we're in a jazz club right now.
Not witnessed in the flesh.
Okay.
Best Super Bowl of all time.
What do you got, Strake? What do you think?
Yes.
Okay.
Kyle said it right yesterday.
Best ever.
Yes.
Okay.
he said the word drag race, like two cars just going at 100 miles per hour. That's what this felt like. It felt like this game was an Arena Football League game. It was so unique. It was from two teams that we thought defense would lead the way. At no point did it ever feel like one team was out of it. And it wasn't just one-sided. It went back and forth. It was a ping-pong game for the ages. And I thought the underdog coming out and winning was kind of fitting with the way the whole entire season went. So I'm going to say yes. I was so amazed last year with 28-3, and the helmet catch was incredible also. But from start to finish, I didn't have any dog in this fight. I watched it with you two gentlemen. Kay, you were there as well. I was jumping out of my seat for both teams. Every single play, it just felt right. And the NFL, they needed this. I loved it.
So it's hard to follow up the Darnell story, but I look at the Super Bowl the day after and like this. Sometimes one finds himself in a place in life where they have an experience and someone turns and asks them, was it good for you? Now, in that moment, hell yeah, it was great. Whatever experience that might be that everyone is thinking of.
Of course.
Sometimes right after the Super Bowl, you have that feeling where you're like, that was the greatest thing ever. Amazing. I can't believe that happened.
Well, you could have just said recency bias, but this is a different way to go.
Yes, This is a different kind of bias. I do not think this was the greatest Super Bowl ever. I don't even think it was the greatest Patriots Super Bowl ever, genuinely, because I've calmed down now. I've put myself together, took a shower. So I look at Super Bowl 49 was the Malcolm Butler game. I think that was better.
Cigarette smoke out of your mouth?
Yeah, of course, it's clove. Super Bowl 42, David Tyree game was better. Super Bowl 25, the Scott Norwood. Yeah. I think this was the most exciting game, but there's no defense. There was one defensive play in the entire game. That, to me, does not make a great football game. It just makes an exciting entertainment experience.
All right, well, you said you feel like we're in a jazz club. Can I do a little spoken word right now?
Of course you can, yes.
So, the winter was cold. The game was bold. Oh, what a night. The dogs in the fight had a bigger bite. All right, listen, with all that said, I don't think this was the greatest game ever. In the moment, we were feeling it. We were going crazy. Every single play was like, ah! Yes. But I do feel like that 49 game is ironic because Malcolm Butler in that Super Bowl was the one that had the game-winning interception.
Crying after the game, not before the game.
And that one was emotional because at the end, you were excited for the pass, but then you're thinking, just hand the ball off to Marshawn. So the dramatics of it was amazing. But for the simple fact that the Eagles won, I'll give it credit.
Okay. Last year's, we could have a whole discussion on which Patriot Super Bowl is the best. Last year was insane.
Yeah, it was. It was unbelievable.
I just like that we're having the conversation every year.
So
it's being
fun.
one-upped. All right, the Eagles should be favorites to win Super Bowl 53 in Atlanta. Believe that or not. Should they be the favorites, or are they bringing their dog max to 2018?
I think they might need them. I think they should not be the favorites for the same reason I think the Patriots should. The NFC is so loaded. And I mean, the NFC East is good. The NFC across the board is good. I love the Eagles, whether it's Spencer Foles or whatever. They're a fantastic team. But I cannot say the Super Bowl favorite because there's too many juggernauts in the NFC.
Well, the point who is that? Wait, you're saying there's too many, so no NFC team can be?
No, I'm not ready to say it's the Eagles. I look at the Saints. I look at the Panthers. I look at the Falcons. The entire NFC South, really.
Do the Rams get better? Probably.
The Niners
is
get
Aaron
better?
Rodgers coming back?
Seahawks always matter. The Packers, yes.
The Vikings will probably be pretty good. I agree with Kyle.
Remember we do this with the AFC and we're like, maybe Jacksonville, or with the NFC, it's ding, ding, ding. There's 50
Cowboys can come back.
Yeah, the whole NFC East even is good.
Guys,
so you can't say it.
tell me who's leaving from that squad.
That's where I was
thinking. That's going somewhere else. And the whole point every season is for every squad to get better and improve. So if we think that they're going to get better and improve, and if you don't feel like this is going to gel them closer than ever before, we love Nick Foles, and we're going to write this story. Remember how good they were with Carson Wentz at quarterback? So, yes, I am giving them credit. And I feel
hard.
It is. But I feel like they're going to come back as dumb as ever. What were they, 13-3?
Yeah.
They were 16-3.
16-3, complete
So
record.
I'm going to say yes, they should be the favorites. Belichick said something last year after they won that everyone kind of laughed at. He's like, well, we are 3 weeks behind on off-season planning.
Yeah.
I do think that does play a role in why it's so hard to do. All these teams have been preparing for the draft, preparing for free agency, and now the Eagles can just jump into it. That said, they bring back the entire coaching staff with the exception of maybe John DeFilippo, who's the quarterback's coach. But it's unheard of to have all of that retention on a Super Bowl team. They're all coming back. Schwartz stays. He's not taking another job. Frank Reich stays. Peterson stays. And the way their season went when they lost, I mean, you want to talk about comeback. Jason Peters is the best left tackle in football. He's coming back. Jordan Hicks is one of the best middle linebackers. He's coming back. Sproles is coming back. Maragos is coming back.
It's crazy, man.
And most importantly, Carson Wentz is coming back.
Hey, backed up by a Super Bowl MVP.
So they're not losing anything, and they get a lot back. I'm going with the Eagles as the favorite. Just now. I mean, it's what? It's February 7th?
It's early.
What do you guys think out there? Hashtag GMFB. That is, believe it or not. I feel like Jimmy Fallon up here. This is amazing. Coming up to play that gave the Eagles their first ever Super Bowl title. Was it good enough to make Burleson's best today?
Uh-oh.
Hey, B-square, Burleson's best going on?
Do this.
All right.
Me twice.
Where's the T-shirts? Come on now.
We need them.
Bibs on, people. Lobster Fest is back at Red Lobster.